The United States of America is known to lay claim as the greatest country on earth, but all the evidence and statistics say otherwise. But try telling that to an American. The USA is one of the few countries in the world where its citizens chant the name of their country at other citizens.
USA! 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 Wow!
Quite often, with no good reason. American nationalism is regularly masqueraded as patriotism. Patriotism can be a fine thing, but nationalism rarely is. Patriotism is pride and loyalty to one's country. However, nationalism is the belief that your country is superior to all others, which in the case of the USA is bullshit. Having the stars and stripes adorning everything, singing the national anthem at sports games, mind-fucking and indoctrinating your children with the Pledge of Allegiance at schools, starting them off as the next generation of cult members, is not what makes a country better than any other, or even great for that matter. However, I've found 10 things that America is number one at. So where do the claims of the greatest country on earth come from? Is it freedom? Sorry, but the land of the free doesn't even rank in the top 10 of the world's freest countries. How about quality of life? Once again, not even in the top 10. Education, the US ranks 14th. Scientific literacy, 33rd. Healthcare, 37th. Life expectancy, 30th. Democracy, 17th. Lack of corruption, 22nd. Freedom of the press, 41st. The list of things the USA is not number one at appears to be endless. But there are a handful of things that the USA do lead the world in. But before we get to the top 10, here are a few dishonourable mentions. The USA is number one in plastic surgery, pornography production, rape, divorce rates, teen pregnancies, child abuse death, number of people who believe in the Sky Wizard, car theft, school shootings, total crimes, which unsurprisingly results in the most lawyers per capita, credit card fraud and debt, student loan debt, mortgage debt, and national debt, the most energy used per person, the most amount of time spent sitting in traffic, and obviously the highest number of McDonald's restaurants. But now, on to the list. At number 10, prisoners. The USA has over 5,000 jails and prisons, with around 2.2 million men, women and juveniles behind bars. In fact, 1 in 4 of the world's prisoners are incarcerated in the land of the free. Almost 3 million children in the US have a parent behind bars. With more jails than colleges, it's understandable that in certain parts of the country there are more people in jail than living on college campuses. About half of inmates are serving time for non-violent drug offences, and with the average cost of $30,000 per year to incarcerate one inmate, US taxpayers pay almost $70 billion annually. Number 9. The cost of having a baby. The average cost of a hospital delivery is around $10,000, but that figure will jump to $15,000 if a cesarean is required. But doesn't health insurance cover this? Well, around 62% of plans have nothing in the way of maternity coverage. And to make matters worse, the USA is one of the few countries left in the world that do not guarantee paid maternity leave, with only 12% of American mothers benefiting from financially protected time with their newborn. The USA does a remarkably terrible job at helping people start families. Number 8. Obesity. With Americans' fondness for fried foods, sugary drinks, cheap pre-packed foods and processed meats combined with their lack of exercise, lack of sleep and a generally sedentary lifestyle, with the most hours spent watching TV in the world, it's not surprising that there's more fatties here than anywhere else. However, Mexico is a close second and may take the top spot over the coming years. Number 7. Healthcare costs. While the US ranks the lowest in healthcare quality among similar countries, they pay by far the most for their treatment. The reason for this? Well, standing between you and your substandard medical treatment are thousands of insurance companies. But despite all this money changing hands, the USA has fewer physicians per person, fewer hospital beds and a lower life expectancy at birth compared to other OECD countries. Number 6. Guns. While the actual figure of guns in the US is unknown, some statistics point towards there being more guns in circulation than people. The US gun-related murder rate is the second highest in the world, only beaten by Mexico, which is in the grips of one of the fiercest drug wars ever known, where police and rivaling gang cartels leave bodies scattered in the wake of their aim for dominance. More Americans have been killed by guns since 1968 than all the wars involving the United States. But this is apparently the price of freedom, that the US doesn't even rank in the top 10 of. Oh, and the US is also the number 1 weapons exporter. Number 5, mass shootings. With almost one gun for every single American, it's no surprise that when one of those Americans malfunctions, a gun is going to be involved. Mass shootings have taken place in the home, in the workplace, post office, restaurants, nightclub, movie theatres, schools, colleges, universities, shopping malls, concerts, military bases, churches, or just in the street. The FBI classifies a mass shooting as 4 people shot in a single incident, but many mass shootings claim dozens or more victims, with the latest massacre in Las Vegas claiming 59 lives and leaving over 500 injured. Number 4. Serial killers. The United States has produced the most serial killers in history, at 2,320. The more famous of these include Gary Ridgway, John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, Joel Rifkin, and Richard Ramirez. The next country on that list, with a figure that pales in comparison, is England, with a mere 116. And number 3, cocaine. The United States is the world's largest cocaine user. There are around 2 million regular users of cocaine, with around 700,000 of those using the crack cocaine variant. The USA also has the highest overall use of illicit drugs on the entire planet. Number 2, military. The United States military budget is set at around $710 billion and is expected to rise under the Trump administration. The US has been at war for 93% of its history, only experiencing 21 years of peace since 1776. But don't let this fool you into thinking they are able to win wars. The US has not convincingly won any wars since World War II, including the Korean War, Vietnam War, and the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The US is also losing its war on drugs, the war on terror, and its war on poverty. Finally, number 1, anxiety disorders. With the worry of going to jail, being raped, pregnancy, obesity, healthcare costs, being shot, and being the victim of a serial killer, all while off your nut on crack, it's hardly surprising that the US are world champions in anxiety, with an estimated 40 million sufferers nationwide. So this list just goes to show, you're not the greatest country on earth, you're just as fucked as everyone else. Oh, and by the way, it's football, not soccer.